Hey guys, welcome back to another video. My name's Sunny and I'm a gap year student on my way to study medicine in September at Kent and Medway Medical School. Today's video is going to be about what I wish I knew before I started college. I'm going to make this video into two parts, the first being social or individual kind of things, and then the second part is going to be more about academics. The first thing I wish I knew was that my grades are going to drop initially. Coming off of GCSEs, I then went to A-levels expecting that things were going to go as smoothly, but for the first few months they didn't, and I didn't know about this, and this actually almost got to me, especially in biology and chemistry, where the mark scheme is very meticulous. It takes a while to adjust to the new rules that you need to play by, essentially. And so this is my advice to you, is that don't be shocked if your grades slip for the first few end of topic exams, because this does take some getting used to, and as soon as you are used to it again, you'll go back to being the standard at which you were before. Second thing I wish I knew is how stressful A-levels would be and how a lack of motivation literally affects everybody. First of all, with the stress element, there's so much content in every A-level. You're not safe anywhere, honestly. Especially in the sciences and essay subjects like psychology, I really found myself struggling with stress just to keep on top of all of the work, doing the homeworks, and then getting the grades that I needed, or the grades that I wanted as well. And so I would just say to yourselves, prepare yourselves mentally, because this is going to be a tough 2 years. And then for motivation, even though I'm a high aspiring student, even sometimes the whole process was very monotonous for me. I found myself going to college for 6 hours, going home, having a little bit of a break, then needing to revise. And then when I didn't have a hobby, that just made the process even worse. And so it's very easy to end up having no motivation or seeing no end in sight. But something you have to remember is that that won't last forever, that's only a feeling. And before you know it, you'll be back where you need to be, but you can't let the lack of motivation drop your grades or drop your work ethic, because if you do, then that's a longer road for you to come back from. So even though you don't feel motivated, lean on that friend to help you get through it. Avoid distractions, but at the same time, don't beat yourself up about it, because your feelings aren't always in your control. If it was up to everybody, everyone would be motivated 100% of the time, but you can't control that. So don't beat yourself up about that also. The last social or individual kind of thing I wish I knew before I started A-levels is you need to make two kinds of friends when you get to college. You need to make friends which are fun to be around, and you need to make friends that will help you further yourself in academics. College is a very freeing environment compared to the restrictions which we had in high school or in secondary school. College is a lot more liberal, and you can find yourself leaning towards the friends who have fun during their frees or don't do work, or just are heavy on the play element of things. But you also need to make friends with people in your class who are doing really well, because they know things that you don't know. They know how to study in a particular way that helps them get good grades, or they can just help explain things to you that you don't understand. And at the same time, you need to enjoy college. You need to actually do well in college, because that's why you're there. And so this is why I say you need to make these two kinds of friends, and even better if you find them all in one. Okay, now on to the more academic side of things, what I wish I knew. First of all, I wish I knew how to study, plain and simply. I think going from high school to A-levels is such a big jump that just brute forcing information with a textbook isn't going to cut it. You're not going to remember it, and there's too much, and you cannot cram. And so you need to make sure you learn things properly, so then you're only reminding yourself what you had learned rather than relearning it completely. And so what I'd say is you need to learn how to use spaced repetition, how to use active recall, and how to use a retroactive revision timetable. As well as this, you need to learn how to concentrate, because A-levels are so tough. You'll find yourself having to sit down for long periods of time when you need to study, and if you can't concentrate for a long time, you're going to need to build this up. And the way I did this was using the Pomodoro method, which is where you work for 25 minutes, have a 5-minute break, work again for 25 minutes, have a 5-minute break. Do this till you've worked for 25 minutes 4 times and then take an extended break. After you do this a lot, you seem to find that 25 minutes is too short, and so you can start to expand the time which you sit down for. In the end, I managed to get up to about an hour and a half. I could sit down comfortably and do work before needing a break. But you have to start small and then you can increase over time. The second point is learning how to make timetables or revision timetables. The one I like to use the most is called a retroactive revision timetable. Retroactive revision timetables mean that as you study topics, you rank them in order of comfortability. The ones you find the most difficult higher up on the list than the ones you find easy. And then within each of these topics, you have a syllabus. And within the syllabus, you can red, amber, green, all the points, depending on green, you understand it completely, red, you don't understand it at all, and amber in the middle. And using these two systems, you can easily find out what topics entirely you're not comfortable with, and then what parts of that topic specifically you need to work on to then use your time efficiently on only revising what is your weakness. But also you can see holistically where your gaps are, knowledge and within whole subjects. The last thing I wish I knew to do with studying, it would do you a massive service if you reviewed topics that you've already learned on a rotated weekly basis. By the time you get to the end of your exams, you will have covered so much content. And I'm telling you now, what you don't want to do is have to relearn all of it. So to save you the pain of doing this, what I suggest you do is, at the end of every week, you have a rotation of topics which you've already covered and that you're a bit shaky on. So if you were to rank them red, orange, green, then make sure you prioritize the reds and that you keep those ones more fresh in your memory than the greens, because you don't want to get to the end of the year and have to relearn everything. And weekly reviews makes it so you don't have to relearn everything, you're just reviewing things that you already know, and it kind of tops up your memory. You've definitely seen the forgetting curve by now on this channel, and if not, you should definitely check out my other studying videos. But you want to try and diminish that gradient on the forgetting curve as much as possible. Now, that is everything that I wish I knew before I started my A-levels. If you guys are interested in tips that I have to getting top grades in either chemistry, biology or psychology, I've already made videos on that and that will be on a playlist. Thank you very much for watching the video. Hope you enjoyed. Make sure to leave any comments down in the comment section and I'll see you guys next week. Peace.